The first thing anyone noticed was the trembling in his hands. Marcus Hale had faced storms, hunger, and years of crushing loneliness without ever flinching, but today, standing under the harsh fluorescent lights of that freezing warehouse, his hands wouldn't stop shaking. Across from him, a powerful man in an expensive suit, someone people once feared, was backing away slowly, his voice cracking in a way no one had ever heard before. The words he whispered weren't loud, but they carried a weight that froze the air. "Please, don't make me do this. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the hidden stories behind people's hardest moments, take a second right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your support keeps stories like this alive." The wind outside howled like it was trying to tear the building apart, but inside, the silence was heavier than any storm. Marcus didn't look cruel. He didn't look angry. If anything, his face carried a quiet pain, like a man who had already made a decision that would haunt him forever. 3 years earlier, Marcus had been a completely different man. He had a steady job in a small construction company in Ohio, a modest home, and a wife named Clara who filled every empty corner of his life with warmth. When their son, Noah, was born, Marcus thought his life had finally settled into something safe and permanent. But life doesn't always follow the plans of good people. Clara fell sick. At first, it was small things, fatigue, dizziness, but soon it turned into something much darker. Hospital visits became routine. Bills stacked up faster than Marcus could count. Insurance didn't cover everything, and the treatments grew more expensive with every passing month. Marcus worked double shifts, then triple, until his body started breaking under the pressure. And then one night, Clara was gone. Marcus didn't cry at the funeral. He didn't cry when people came with their empty words and gentle pats on his shoulder. He didn't cry when he sold their house to pay off the debts. But when Noah asked him why Mommy wasn't coming back, something inside Marcus shattered quietly, without a sound. From that moment on, everything he did was for his son. But the world isn't kind to struggling fathers. Jobs were hard to find. Bills didn't stop. And when Noah fell sick one winter, with a severe condition that required immediate treatment, Marcus found himself standing at the edge of desperation. That's when Gregory Collins entered his life. Gregory was everything Marcus wasn't: wealthy, powerful, untouchable. He owned companies, buildings, entire neighborhoods. But behind that polished image was a man known for his cold heart and ruthless decisions. When Marcus approached him for help, begging for a loan, a chance, anything, Gregory didn't see a father. He saw an opportunity. He made Marcus an offer. Not a kind one. Not a fair one. But one that could save Noah's life. Marcus would work for him. Not in an office. Not in any ordinary job. But in the shadows, doing things no one else wanted to do. Deliveries. Collections. Situations that required a man who wouldn't ask questions. Marcus hated every moment of it. Every night he came home, he felt like he was losing a piece of himself. But Noah's smile, fragile, tired, but still there, was enough to keep him going. Until the night everything changed. A deal had gone wrong. A shipment lost. Millions at stake. Gregory was furious, but for the first time, the fear wasn't in others, it was in him. Something had surfaced. Something dangerous. And now, Gregory was being hunted by people far more ruthless than he had ever been. Marcus found him hiding in that abandoned warehouse, stripped of his confidence, his power reduced to nothing but fear. And now, the roles had reversed. Marcus had one chance to save Noah. One final payment Gregory had promised, but now, Gregory was trying to back out, trying to run, trying to save himself. The condition was simple but humiliating. Marcus needed proof. Proof Gregory wasn't hiding anything, no wires, no trackers, nothing that could risk everything. It wasn't about power. It wasn't revenge. It was survival. Still, Gregory trembled like a man facing the loss of everything he once believed made him untouchable. Marcus closed his eyes for a moment. He wasn't a cruel man. He never wanted to be in this position. But Noah's face flashed in his mind, the hospital bed, the quiet breathing, the doctor's warning that time was running out. When Marcus opened his eyes again, they weren't cold, they were broken. He turned away slightly, giving Gregory what little dignity he could in that moment. It wasn't about forcing shame. It was about ensuring safety, about finishing something neither of them wanted. Minutes later, it was over. No violence. No cruelty. Just two men standing in silence, stripped not of clothing, but of pride, illusions, and the lives they once thought they controlled. Gregory handed over the final payment, his hands still shaking. For the first time in his life, he looked at Marcus not as a tool, not as someone beneath him, but as a man who had endured more than he could understand. Marcus took the envelope and walked away without another word. Weeks later, Noah was recovering. The treatment worked. Slowly, color returned to his cheeks. His laughter, soft at first, began to fill the small apartment Marcus now called home. It wasn't much, but it was enough. Marcus left that life behind. Every connection. Every shadow. He found honest work again, hard, exhausting, but clean. And every night, when Noah fell asleep, Marcus would sit quietly, staring at the ceiling, remembering everything he had done, and everything he had survived. Because sometimes, the strongest people aren't the ones who never fall, they're the ones who fall, break, and still choose to stand back up for someone they love. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to like, comment, and share it with someone who believes that even in the darkest moments, humanity can still shine through. And before the story ends, I want to ask you something special. Comment below, what would you have done if you were in Marcus's place? Years later, Marcus would tell Noah the truth, not the dark details, but the heart behind it. He would tell him that love sometimes demands impossible choices. That strength isn't about power, it's about sacrifice. And Noah, now older, would look at his father not with pity, but with something far greater. Respect. Because in a world that pushed him to the edge, Marcus Hale didn't become a monster. He became a father who refused to give up.